Good evening, everyone, and happy Tuesday. We are here with Darlene's very colorful desk mat, and we are bringing you a two brand mashup tonight. When Darlene and Chris and I were originally planning Learning Lives for this month, our original plan was to do a bunch of mashups to show how you can, combine different brands together. And it turns out that we had other things to show. But Darlene felt very passionate. She really wanted to share her Fawn Waffle Flower mashup combo projects, and they're two of her favorite brands. So how could we say no? So without further ado, as Darlene adjusts her little camera there, I'm going to turn it over to her, Darlene. We've got Karen and Jennifer from Calgary, and Donna and Janice, and all kinds of people watching. So share your Fawn Waffle Flower magic.
Hello, everyone, and I'm so happy to be here today. As Sherry said, it's two of my favorite brands, and they work really, really well together for the mashup. So just an introduction of what the Waffle Flower Postage Collage die is. It's a die set that comes with lots of shapes, that has that postage edge, as well as this piece that you'll see me use throughout the night today. What it is one rectangular piece with the postage detail around it. Of course, it has all these little dots that punch out and create this beautiful panel. This is what the hype for Waffle Flower is. I am so happy they introduced this. So with this particular die, there's so much to do with it. One of the things they came out with is a series of dies with different themes. Unfortunately, it's hard to see this one. This is a snowman one. I just picked one up so you could see. Let me see if I can find a solid cardstock here. Quite fitting, it's orange. They came out with a series of stencils, and what the stencils do is that it helps you create nice pattern background for this particular die set. So what you would do is take out the stencils. Every stencil set has different amounts of stencils. This particular snowman set is 2. Some of them have 3 layers. Some of them have 4. What they've also done, it's really hard to see, is that some of the stencils will actually have an imprint on it. This one, because the snowmans are white. I know the spectacular one for the Halloween one, it actually tells you what color. So it gives you some ideas of colors to use. So that way you're not struggling. They make it really, really easy. So once you stencil these two, this is what it would look like. So it creates a really beautiful background. There are 2 ways to do it. You could die cut your postage die first and then line up your stencil on top of it and then stencil it. But what I personally like to do is take an A2 size panel, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I stencil it first, and then I take my die over top that panel. I line up the little rectangular pieces to the die. So let's say this is still not die, it's on a panel. I match it up, make sure that rectangles match up, and then I run it through my machine, and then it comes out. So they have made it really, really easy to create different backgrounds. The nice thing about this postage die is that you can create full panels like this. Here's another example. This one Alexis made. This is a sample that Tanya made. So they create nice full panels, but you can take it up a notch. You can cut on these dotted areas and create little stamps. And here is one that Alexis has done where she cut out those little panels and you create little stamps. So when you cut out those little on the dotted lines, the nice thing is that it gives you that postage edge as well. So you create little stamps. So I will be playing with this in a different way tonight. So let me put these stencils aside. So that is the basic of Waffle Flower. That was the original. What they did next was, one thing I am so happy they came out with, is the postage collage block stencil. What it is that it has openings for you to color, so that way you don't have to mask anymore. You can do background colors. So let's say I wanted a Well, here is one. So here's one that I put an A2 size panel. I washi taped it down and I inked different colors. And the nice thing is there is such a huge gap that if you're using a smaller blending brush, you can alternate your colors without having to mask and get worried that you're going to ink up a different spot. So I will show you how to use this in a second. And the last addition to the waffle flower is this one here. It's called the Postage Collage Blocks die. It works really well with the postage die, but let's say you are tired of all the stamp looking type panels that you want a solid. And this is where the solid comes in, is that you don't have that decorative edge anymore. You are left with a plain panel that looks like, do I have one? That looks like this. So same idea, but now you have a straight edge, which is really nice and very different too. But also with this die, it cuts out the openings for you, whereas the postage one doesn't. It only gives you the solids, but it gives you that stitching mark. So lots of ways. So let's start off with the basics, and I will show you how I have added lawn fawn. So just to give you a sneak peek, I have lots of examples, but here is using the postage die. I just want to make sure I'm centered here. But with my other favorite brand, Lawn Fawn, and I love creating scenes. So as you can see, I changed my postage collage where my vertical line is now on the bottom left. You'll notice a lot of her stencils, the vertical is on the right. So majority of all these stencils, stencil patterns that come out, the sets, the vertical is on the right. But when you start creating your own little thing, you can change it up in different directions. So here I have it still horizontal, but my vertical biggest rectangles on the bottom left. You can for sure do your postage samples vertically. So just a different setup, but it's all about creating scenes. So I will show you more examples as I go, but I want to show you how easy these are to put together. So first off here is my A2 size card. I forgot to bring my grip mat to work today, but washi tape also is handy. I'm going to tape my panel down just so it doesn't move. Okay. So with this one here is I want a colored background. So I am using that solid color block. And it has a little edge marking. I think you can see it now that I've inked it so many times. You can see a little border outline. That lines up with my A2 size panel. So I'm just using those grid marks to line it up. And I'm going to tape my block down. That way when I'm coloring, it doesn't move. So here I am I just brought a variety of color. But of course, let's do purple. Let's do purple and let's do broken china, which is the blue. So I'm going to do purple and blue just to show you how easy it is to color this. So taking blending brush, I'm just going to color one rectangle. If you are scared that you are going to go over when you're blending, feel free to put a scrap piece of paper there or a Post-it. Or if you have Gina K's masking sheets, you can for sure hide it. And that way, when you're coloring, you don't have to worry about going over. And you can select which boxes you want to color. So I'm just going to do a few here. So I'm just going to do a really quick job here just to show that it is easy to color. I am going to tap off so I don't get all those streak marks. And you can for sure color these blocks in full colors. So let's say you want all purple. You can color all purple, which is easier because then you don't have to worry about the other blocks. And I'm just doing different ones. I use 2 colors, but you can use a variety of colors. So depending on how much color you want in your background, you can go heavy-handed, light-handed to create your colors. Okay. And might as well just ink up all the other ones. So I'm just doing a very fast job just so you could see how easy it is. So let's say you do a little whoopsies by accident, your second color went onto the other one. Those are great hiding spots. And that's what I do is I find something that I can hide the little smudge or the wrong ink in the wrong box. But so here you go for a panel. See how fast that is to create that background? So when you use Waffle Flower's original stencils, for example, the snowman, it already creates those backgrounds to match. Let me see if I can pull it out. So for the example, this one, when you use that first stencil, you're creating the blue background. But sometimes you want to use your own, silhouette stamps, or you want to use your own die cuts, own stamps. This color block is perfect because you can create a background. Okay, so next thing I want to show you is how do you, so let's say I have this, but I want the openings. This is where this one comes in to cut out the openings. So I would match it up and run it through the die cut machine. So let me do that quickly so you can see what happens when I die cut all these pieces here. Whoops, I better stand for this. So now using this color block die, all those rectangles now fall out. So I have options that I can glue them directly onto my postage die, because remember this one, when you use this die, it leaves a solid. It only cuts out the decorative edge as well as the little circles. I could use these and glue them into its spots, but I could also raise it. So now I can add some three-dimensional elements to it. So just to give you an idea. So here, let's say I want to add, whoops. And remember, I want to make sure I can see those stitching. So I could add a puffed element here, but let's say, oh, my hands are all over. I want a flat piece. So that one goes over here. I can raise the blue one on the boat. So there's so much you can do. But if you're starting to glue it onto your postage die, make sure your elements are on it before you stick it on. So that way, if you need to stamp, it's not raised, because I did that by mistake. I tried to stamp it while it was raised, but lots of things, or you can leave some blank. So that is one option of doing it. And that's what I liked when I was creating my backgrounds. So let me put that aside. So let's create. Are you ready to see some creations? So first off, I wanted to do, I have some holes that I didn't clear up properly. So let me just clean that up, but it's not a big one. So let's stencil a colorful black background. And I'm going to add my favorite lawn fawn using some of the new released. And I am going to stick this down. So this one, because I already die cut it, I need to stick this panel down here. And I am going to place this on top. So following, now I'm using these openings inside the stitch area. So you can do it both ways. You just want to make sure that you're evenly in between the postage. So the nice thing is that you could die cut your postage die first and then do your stenciling, or vice versa. So I like to prep a lot of the, you can tell I prep a lot of the bases already so I can bring it on the go and just stick things on. But so let's ink some backgrounds because I need, let's do a purple background because some of my samples used a lot of blue. So let's change it up a little bit. So I'm going to color all the backgrounds in blue. And let's add some elements. So who loves reading books? Do we have any book lovers? Uh-oh, something's here. I have a dot. Is anyone book lovers here? I know as our team, there's a lot of us that loves to read. So my next question is, any coffee or tea drinkers here? So I have this random big dot. There must be like the pop out from the postage underneath here while I was inking. So that's going to be a hiding spot for me. But that's a good illustration of how to hide stuff. So let me move my inks because I don't want to get things inky. So I just did a little purple background here. And this is the fun part of decorating. So you don't have to watch me color. I cut a bunch of elements from Lawn Fawn. So I am using different things. One of the sets I'm using tonight is the treat cart add-on as well as the treat cart. I'm also using the little woodland library and all the add-ons. Another set I am using is the little snowman family plus add-on. And some of the dies that didn't fit in my holder tonight, this one's called the book collection. So I'm going to pair it up with different things. So here I am going to create a little scene. So I pre-colored, not sticking anything out because I'd like to decide what I'm doing first. And so I have some owls, some stack of books. I have my foam squares so I could add some dimension. So let's add that flat. Make sure my glue is working. Awesome. Oh, I see some tea drinkers. Lots of people love to read. So here it is. It's okay if you're going outside the postage. I like that feel that there is some dimension on it. Who do I want up here? Trying to see which critters I have. Oh, I have that little, is that a mole? I think it's a little mole that I could place on top of the book. So I'm going to pop it up here and put the mole sitting here. And what I'm going to do is not only use the stamp set, I am going to mix it up with the die set. I'm loving this whole book collection. So I'm going to add some of that die, the book standing up a little bit. So looks like he's surrounded by little books. Okay. And then I like this one, how it's lying down. And for that book collection, it had the bigger stack of books. So I'm going to add some of those here. So this is a great way to use up your stash of scraps. And I'm going to add here. This one had, oops, let me use this one because I already added the little bookmark that it comes with. Oh, but it's a bigger book. So let me just use this one. So I'm going to glue it flat. And I think I'm going to get him lying on top of this big book. Because that's me, my nose all the way on into my book when I have a good one that I'm reading. Oops. So this one's going to just nestle right up there. I'm going to put the little library here, but I think I'm going to stack a little bit of books just to raise it up. So does anybody have any of these sets? Either the Waffle Flower postage collage or the library collection from Lawn Fawn? And has anybody tried mixing it up? So here, let's see if that is. I'm going to remove one because it makes it too high. And no worries about the little goop here. I will fix that. Let's pop this up. So I'm just using foam squares because I don't want it to collapse. Yes, Donna, you're always mixing things up, which is a great way to use our supplies. And I thought this was cool too because it got me taking things out and using it.
This is also a really great way. I know with Lawn Fawn, we always tend to cut and color extra bits.
Yeah.
So this gives us a great way to just use them without having to worry if they necessarily go together.
Exactly. And so you can treat each box as its own scene, or you can treat it as the panel as a full scene. But the nice thing is that it's cute. So regardless of what you do, it's a lot of fun. So I'm just having that little book nestled there. I pulled out some of my Spellbinders gem because for the life of me, I couldn't find my glazed jelly roll. But I'm going to put a gem there just to give that little knob some texture. Glossy accents would work too, but I thought these gems, just because I like bling. So that's a fun little bling there. So now the bottom, I have, let's do some books here. I'm going to, whoops, I have a lot of the same color. So these little books are from the bookmark version. So, because the book collection had the big ones for full size. Let me see if I have. The bookmark collection, which is the one with the dies to this die plus the frame that goes in between it, it had little books. It had a plant and a lamppost, which we will use in this scene here. So I really took all the book collections from Lawn Fawn and I mixed it up to create different scenes. Oops. And when I started doing that, having a good book to read also needs a good drink to drink. So I used the treat cart one. Where's my little lamppost? And I'm going to stick that there. So let's add some drinks here. Oops. The little lamp. So making sure, you want to make sure your ink is dry, or I find that the glue doesn't want to stick when it's still wet. I'm going to put the little, actually, let's put the little glue, not glue, the little flower pot here. So the flower pot, I put 2 of the little branches in here to make it look more full. And then what I love about this set, oh, where's my worm? There's a little worm. So fun. Oh, that's a hat, not a worm. Oh, it reminds me of Sesame Street's little Oscar the Grouch's pet, Slimy. So Slimy's gonna read a book. So I'm gonna pop this book. And here's when I sort of go off because I really want him to pop. So I cut my square down a little bit, only on the head, because I'm going to glue his bottom on top of this book here. So it looks like he's, okay, this is when glossy accents is needed for those eyeballs. So I need something over here. I have Mr. Owl. And what am I going to do here? Mr. Owl, I'm going to stack more books. I'm going to put this one flat. And let me grab another, pretty sure I have more books that's colored. And I'm going to do it side by side and make him sit on top. He's the wise owl, so he can balance there. And you know what? Let's add some drinks. So let's add a little hot chocolate. So let me move the little wise owl a little bit. Let's see if he will come off nicely without tearing. So let me move him to the left, actually to the right. And the reason I did that is because the handle, so put it right beside him. And you know, because the mole is very adventurous, just don't do this in the library with your books, putting a cup on top. But so here is one scene by putting Lawn Fawn on that postage collage. So creating different sets here. Now, let's say
you really packed a lot into that little scene.
Right?
And I think it was probably very helpful for you that you had those little compartments.
Yes.
Because you could, I think you said earlier, you could treat each compartment as its own scene, and you got so much more on there than what you might have added on a typical card.
Exactly. And it's fun, right? You don't have to overdress it like I did, but hey, when you have a lot of stuff at home, and the nice thing about Lawn Fawn is that everything's scaled down and you could use a lot of the sets together. So it doesn't matter if it was, you have, let's say, the treat cart and the library set, they work together. Like all the sets work together, and you'll see that in a second. But I am going to use the one we just created. So as you can see, I didn't do any stamping here. Some of my samples will show the postage collage stamps on it. But I think with a card like this, I might just put a nice big sentiment in the middle. But oops, I thought that was stuck down, but I guess not. So here I am. So that one is the purple. And I had two raised, so this one I'm going to do flat. So I'm just gluing it onto the postage collage. Whereas this one here that we just created, I inked the background. Now this is us inking the background. I used that solid die to cut the shapes out. So just doing it a different way. and let's create a scene. So for this one here is where I am going to mix some sets up. So I'm going to use my treat cart. And here, for the fun of it, let's turn it the other way. I might change the color though, because I picked purple and blue, we're going to change it up a little bit. So here, I forgot to stamp the sentiment, so let's do that. Now it's finding the right set coffee cart. So let's stamp that one before I stick it on, because then I can't redo it. So now the fun part is, where did I put my stamp? Sorry for my arm reaching. I hid things in a very good place. So in the add-on set, treat cart add-on, it has the words coffee cart. You could for sure pick another sentiment. Oh, it's sticking to my hands. Let's just stick this here. I'm going to do a little space, eyeball, and let's go for it. So inking up coffee cart, because remember that vertical panel I foamed, squared it up, so I won't be able to stamp once it's down. Making sure it's dried, and I'm going to stick it here, but before I do, let's glue. I'm going to put the bear. So what I'm going to do is put bear, a little bit glue at the bottom, so I can stick him or her behind. So my pigment ink is a little bit wet, so I don't want to smush it. And in the little hand, I am going to put a little gingerbread. They were so cute to color. So here, gingerbread. And I'm going to just glue this whole thing down. I would raise it, but because this vertical line is a little bit smaller than the tree cart, I want to make sure it's glued on nicely. This postage collage is a tad shy of a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So you will have a nice border when you put it on an A2 size card base. So don't worry if it sticks out just a tad, because it will still be okay and it will fit in a standard envelope. You just want to make sure it doesn't go over too much, just a little bit. So here I am going to mix up some of our sets together. So those two can go here, and I will puff. So this is a fun part, is creating scenes. And it's like when you tell a story. So these two friends are meeting up for some coffee, and let's put some coffee and treats in their hands. So let's put a teal cup in Mr. Owl's hand. So I'm gonna just slip it underneath. And then Miss Fox here is going to have a little cupcake. Because the square's heart, it is going to overlap. I could put in this hand, but I'm just going to just overlap it a little bit, or they can have nothing. Let's see if I can lift Mr. Owl just a little bit upwards. Oops, there goes the little muffin. But maybe if I tilt him a little bit, so at least you can see the cup. Let's retry this again. Little cupcake. And then our friend over here, let's use the mommy and little kid here. That's the thing. I need to find one of the old sets. I think it was It was the teacup where all the animals, they had like the log where they can sit. So let's create something here where they can sit. I'm going to put just one book here, like a little log book, and put Bunny, who's reading, right over here. And then, so there's different things. Oh, here it is. So I am doing this as a Christmas special, so I am going to put the little signage. Let's see. And I can do this forever. Like, it's so much fun. I need to find critters that face the other direction. So it looks like it's shopping, but I already use fox here. It's okay. This is where I take out, where's my baby snowman? We're gonna put my baby snowman or snow woman because our baby is also buying hot cocoa. Not a wise idea, but hey, let's put it right here. Okay, I'll be nice. It will have a little candy cane. We don't want baby snowman to melt. But I will give it a little candy cane. So I don't know. I should have put this first, but there was that tree set from Lawn Fawn that there are pieces of trees that you die cut and you can stack together. And it came with 4 layers, but I'm only using the first 2 just to create a little tiny tree. So here's me using what I can to create scenes. So here is my little baby tree. And I feel like one of the snowmans decided to hide. Oh, no, we're having a little, oh, my penguin, I forgot to look, I forgot to color the arm. Uh-oh. We'll pretend it's color because I think a little peeking snowman, not snowman, penguin can go right over here playing peekaboo. Or yeah, let's use that because I can color that after. I'm just going to put a little pop dot there. And it's going to play peekaboo under this tree here. Or maybe this way. So much fun. I could do this all day.
Darlene, there are some comments talking about how amazing you have done with all of that coloring.
Oh, thank you.
And Ellen reminded everyone that if you don't like to color, then there are the coloring stencils with Lawn Fawn as well.
Yes. And those are amazing. The stencils.
They really are.
Makes
Heather is... Sorry, go ahead.
It makes life so much easier with the stencils. But if you are color, and this is what I did in front of the TV, is I stamped a lot. Like, do I have I basically use my Misty, and I just keep stamping little panels because that way I can cut it down and put it through my baby scout. But see, I just love coloring, so I pre-stamp plenty, and I take it on the go.
Excellent. Heather is asking how you handle all the small pieces without tweezers.
I don't know. I think I'm used to it, but another thing I do use sometimes, if I remember, is the little wax tip here. But I'm used to just using my fingers. Maybe it's the fingernails too that helps.
And then when you get to a moment, not while you're mid, Ellen was told that you need to share your Lawn Fawn organization. I don't know if you brought it with you or not.
So there's different ways I store, but I can show you how I brought things to the store and how I put my pouches together. Let me just stack this one. So there is little stamp sets that you can put titles here, which I forgot already, but because that's a nice small slot, I'm going to put that there. And let's add a little coffee cup. Do I have any more of the actual? I pre-cut a lot of stuff. Oh, here. Because I don't drink as much hot beverages as a lot of people, but I love my boba. I love my ice cap. So, of course, I had to do the ice cap version of this, but I think I will pop that up. Okay, so let me just create this. And I will go back. So as I show you, so the main thing I do when I'm storing my stamp set is I love the Averial pouches. They're very nice and I have fallen in love with it. And because I have majority of all my stuff stored in these pouches, I don't have the heart to switch over to something else. What's nice about this is a lot of the Lawn Fawn Hero Arts and some of the Spellbinder sets, they fits nicely. But I also like to group add-ons with it if it fits. If not, I will have a second pouch. So in this little pouch here, I do put a label on it, but you could tell I'm still far behind, is I have the small add-on. So it has the cat dog set. I kept the stencil with it. And because the stencil has all those intricate parts, I actually cut down the packaging. I just cut up the top so I can still see the title, but at least it's covered and I can grab it and put it back in the pouch. So don't throw out your little packaging because they're a great way to store things so you don't damage your stencils or your set. But now I'm having a hard time opening it up. And that way, when I'm done, it goes back in here. I know it's together. It won't get, these won't get stuck in it and get yanked. I have the main stamp set as well as the stencil. I kept these here for now until I label my outside of my packaging. Everything is in here for now. But I also like that white background. It makes your stamp set pop a little bit more. And then, of course, the stamp set. So, die set. So depending on how many dies, sometimes I do have 2 magnets or I keep the magnets in a second pouch. But this one has the 2 sets. It has the main set as well as the, hold on, I got upside down. The main set and then the add-on because it has the dog and cat. So that goes behind. And I make sure the dies are facing the other way so they don't get yanked when I'm putting the stamp sets back in. I find sometimes they catch. So if I have it on the back side, at least I know it's protected. And another thing I do, which I have to go out and find, is I use the Velcro, the circle Velcros. And that way it stays shut. Washi tape's good too. But the one thing I don't want is my dies, if it does fall out and this accidentally falls and then I can't find it. So Velcro is the last thing I add on. For transportation purposes, because I always come to the store to do do the lives. So I use the toolbox 5x7, something that I use at home too. They fit nicely in it. My waffle flower postage collection also is in a 5x7, and with the stencils, what I did was the tab dividers are pocketed, so you can have each one in its own little divider. And the one thing I've done with all my stencils when I get it is do a sample and then put it with your stencil, so at least you know what it looks like. So that's how I carried those in today, and it has the sets. There's still some improvement that I do, but organizing is one thing, right? As Sherry always says, we have 3 jobs. There's 3 hobbies when it comes to this. So here is 2 samples that I created doing the mashup of the waffle flower postage die, as well as using Lawn Fawn. But I wanted to show you some other things that you can do. So I did more samples just to give you an idea that it's anything. So I left it blank so I can use my sentiments. But Waffle Flower also does have the stamp set where you can put the denominations 50 cents, 30 cents, 9 cents. It also has like airmail. So here has less images, but you could do it simple, you could overdo it. Um, I love creating scenes. Here is my little sunset type background. They're all reading here the book. So here is where I use the die set, and here is only that library stamp set. So trying to mix it up. Here's another version where I'm mixing up the different lawn fawn elements. We have the book collection, we have the bookmark, the books from the bookmark die, plus the lamp and the paper and the flower pot. But then the elements from the stamp set. Here I added the coffee for the from the treat cart. So creating scenes, and that's what I love, is creating scenes. Here is one where I cut up the pieces. So when you cut it up, you get lots of panels. So all you want to do, I left this on purpose together to show you, is that you want to cut in between those circles. That's where you are going to get those postage detailed elements. So when you cut that, you get this nice edging to make it look like a stamp set. So here I can create another card with these two panels. But here I did 4. So same thing. I decorated and then I cut it. I was trying to look for a plate. I know Lawn Fawn has plates and stuff, but you know what that's from? That's from the tree die, and that's the little floor mat for under your Christmas tree. It became a plate for me. So that's where it is. I guess I forgot my tree die, but that is that. That's the floor mat. It's my plate. And here is the element. So you can create just little postage stamps and create a card. So taking it up, I needed to use that snowman set. And one of the other sets that I had a lot of fun playing with is when Lawn Fawn has all these are they called, what are Simply Celebrate. It's basically a line of animals, creatures, bugs, and it's supposed to go in the center of your card, and it's easy coloring. But what I did was, and you saw me earlier, is I colored them and I cut them out. So here I have the penguins from that particular line, which is this one here. I colored it and I cut it out, and my little snowmans are playing here. So here's that tree die, that Christmas tree die. I just made it green so it looks like it's just hiding behind there. This one, and I just created snowbanks. Lawn Fawn has a lot of hills. Even for something like this, I just freehand it. So when you cut out those panels, like these ones here, I kept those because they are the perfect size. All you want to do is cut those hills, add it into the matching rectangle, and you have snowbanks, grass. They're perfect. So don't throw them. And this is also where I puff some of those up. So these two are popped up and the rest are flat. Here's those penguins again that I just freehand some like ice bricks, and they're just peeking and playing. And Lawn Fawn does have the stamp set with the little snowballs, but I had to use gems. So I used Spellbinder's pearls as their snowballs. So here they're playing and throwing their snowballs. So that is using Lawn Fawn, and that was what I wanted to show you, is that you can use Lawn Fawn and Waffle Flower together. But I want to show you it's not limited to Lawn Fawn. You can use any other brand, and if I could create all day, I would. But Doodlebug is another one of my favorites. So here is Ellen. This was for you because I know you love your Halloween. But using some of the stickers, it doesn't have to be the stamps. It could be stickers. So I use the shape sprinkles. I used the other sample. I have the Doodle Pops with the mini icons, and the puffy stickers, and I created it. So this die is the Lawn Fawn spider web die. If I don't know, it's somewhere. Oh, here. I die cut the spider web, and I die cut one of the postage. I glued it on, and then I trimmed off the extras to create that web in the background. And all I did was add stickers. That's all I did. These are the puffy stickers mixed in with the sprinkles because I really like the shape of the sprinkle spiders. And I just ink blend the background. And then my last sample for tonight, just to keep on, is the using the mini icons, the Doodlebug stickers, still with my scene, but using sticker elements instead of stamping. So if you don't like to stamp in color, take out your stickers and create scenes because it's also great. And a great way to use it up too, because I know I have a lot of these. So I just added some of those doodle pops here, and then some the mini icon stickers because I like how they're scaled down. They do have two kinds of stickers, but the mini icons are my favorite because I'm a planner girl as well. So I like using them on planners. And I created scenes and I tucked it in so it looks like the ghost is coming out of the back there. So just other ways to use the postage collage dies and using other items besides stamp sets. So that is it from me tonight. I hope you enjoyed that. And if you do create something, I would love to see what you make.
That is a lot of cards, my friend.
Yeah. It's fun. When I'm going, I go.
Well, and I think you made a really good case for, okay, well, you like to prep your critters ahead, and then you've got that whole stash that you could just make a whole bunch, and it's really fast and easy.
Yeah.
Well,
A lot
thank
of
you
fun.
for all your tips and tricks tonight. We've got lots of people feeling very excited. Even Donna said that you've given her some ideas.
Yay.
I know Ellen and Joanne are both saying that Halloween makes everything better. So while we've got a few days until Halloween, then go and make those cards. And everyone else, thank you for joining us tonight, and I wish you a wonderful rest of your week. Good
Thank
night,
you.
everyone.
Good night.